Good morning, fellow orchid lovers. It's Danielle here with a short video, little update on my Tolumnias. So as you may recall, when I first moved to my new home, I put them in very strong light because I know they like strong light, but I didn't make the transition gradual enough and I burnt them badly, most of them. I even lost a few of them. I actually gave up on one, excuse me, yesterday. So, I need to take a sip of coffee. Okay, so, voice back, continue talking. So some of them, like the bigger ones that I'll show you in the back, I couldn't get them close to the glass because they were so large, so they really didn't suffer. But the smaller ones, I placed them right on the window ledge here. And unfortunately, they got badly burned. So, but there are signs of life. The ones that didn't completely croak, it looks like they're going to start to try to save themselves. Which, you know, it was a tense couple of months because it's been a month or two since I did burn them. And I wasn't sure if they were going to make it or not. So the first one I'm going to show you is not one that was burned because I just got it. So this one's doing really well. You know, her roots haven't taken hold of the branch yet, really. But she will. Nice new fan in the front. Nice, chunky, healthy, fleshy leaves. I kind of miss that. Yeah, because I love the growth pattern on the Tolumnias. The flowers are gorgeous. I've only had the privilege of getting one of these to bloom. The flowers are gorgeous, but I just love the fleshy leaves on the Tolumnias. So this is Tolumnia Jarrick Flyer MO05. It's quite a fancy name. But it is very pretty flower, so I'm excited for that one. Hopefully I can encourage it to bloom. We shall see. So that's the one that did not get burned. The one that I hold out the least hope for is actually the one that I did get to bloom. I don't remember. I think it's Jarrick Flyer Snow White. I'm pretty sure, or it might be just white. Something like that. I have the tags somewhere, but it's kind of hard to keep the tags with the plants, so I just stopped. But there's no real signs of life with her. I mean, she does have roots. They do green up. Her foliage did not completely fall off. It desiccated very badly. The burnt ones definitely fell off. This plant was at least 2/3 bigger than this. But I don't know if these older fans have any available eyes to produce a new fan. You know, I'm hoping. I'm not going to give up on her until she starts to turn brown all over and die. That's the one I gave up on yesterday. It still was green, and so I was still watering it. And then I noticed that what was left was turning brown. So it was curtains for that one. So that one, unfortunately, although it bloomed, it looks like it might not make it. Might be another one that's gonna go bye-bye. This one, I believe, is my Black Magic. Only one fan left. All the back fans burned off. But still some green viable roots and a lovely new growth starting. So I'm really excited about that. You'll notice I have these hooks in the branches. I wasn't 100% thrilled with putting them in the glasses because I felt like their roots maybe, especially the larger Tolumnias with the very big root systems, I felt like they weren't really drying out very well. So I'd go to water them the next day and the roots would still be slightly damp. And I didn't know if I thought that was a good idea. So I put the hooks in so that I could water them and then hang them here. And I tried that, and within an hour, the roots were crispy, like crispy, dry as a bone. So I don't really like that because although, you know, they don't stay, you know, like incredibly wet the whole entire day, they do, you know, they live, Tolumnias are from the Caribbean for the most part. And, you know, it gets very hot there, but it's very humid. So although the roots maybe don't have torrents of water all the time, they always have a high level of moisture in the air. So I don't think that the roots getting crispy within an hour of watering is really beneficial to the plant either. So we went back to the idea of putting them in the cup after they've been watered. So this is my Jarek Flyer Cocoa Drop, I believe. Or it's that one that I just showed you. I get the two mixed up. I think this is the Cocoa Drop. So as you can see, she kept her leaves. They turned this terrible purplish brown, but she kept them. They desiccated and all that, but they didn't fall off like the other ones. So I think she has a little bit of a leg up. That front fan, you know, not happy, but not gone. And now she has a new growth right there. So again, signs of life in my badly burned Tolumnias. So I'm really, really happy about that, because I do really want to do better about growing my Tolumnias. In my old environment, I didn't have the time really to give them the proper wet-dry cycle that they require. You know, I worked quite a bit, and I worked at a local hospital. I'm still working for the hospital, just remotely from my home. So I have the time, you know, during my coffee break in the morning, I run in here and I water them, and then, you know, I go back to work. So I have the time now to give them a proper wet-dry cycle. So I'm really hoping that I can see some Tolumnia blooms. If not this year, then definitely next year. I think it definitely not for these three, but maybe for my new one, and maybe for these guys, because these are big, and I don't know why. Well, I think it's because I wasn't giving them a proper wet-dry cycle, but these two never bloomed, and they're big plants, so I feel like they should have. But you can see they have fairly well-established new growths, several of them. There's probably even a few down there that I can't even see. Lots of roots, some old roots, but I'm kind of just leaving them there as a little bit of a moisture buffer, so that, you know, on the really hot days, like today, it's supposed to be close to 90 degrees. So I kind of want them to have the little extra moisture to get them through that really hot part of the day. As you can see, it has attached to the branch. There's another new little growth right there. Look at that. And a new root. So yeah, I want them to be able to have that little bit of moisture. Yesterday, one of my temperature gauges in the house read 107. But it was by the window where I get the most light in my dining room, and I was like, oh dear. Okay, so this is the last one I'm going to show you. So this one, also well-established, nice big plant, hasn't bloomed for me, but again, I'm hoping, now that I'm keeping up with this whole wet-dry thing and giving them good light, hopefully they will bloom. I do feel too, though, that these two big plants, I'm not giving them enough light, and I think it's because I'm a little gun shy at this point. I burned these ones so badly that I'm afraid to put those closer to the light, and I think they need it. It's my understanding that when it gets like these little purple spots all over, that you're giving it enough light, and I really don't have that many purple spots. So there's like a delicate balance between burnt and enough light. And I haven't found that mixture, and I pushed these ones towards the enough light way too quickly, and yeah, so those were the consequences. So I think with these, I'm going to increase light levels slowly over the next couple of weeks. They technically live right here. So the morning sun comes through this window, and they're a little shaded by this beautiful Phalaenopsis and my Dendrobium microchip. So they're like right back there. So in the afternoon, the sun comes through that window because the sun goes that way at my house. So I was thinking of maybe inching them towards that window a little bit more so they get a little bit more afternoon sun. I don't know, we'll see. Very slowly, very slowly, and with a lot of checking will I move them closer to the window. And then there's just something I wanted to share with you. I have a huge problem with algae here. My last home I didn't because I had city water, excuse me, or town water, and so it had chlorine in it. And so although I would get algae, it was never really that bad. Well, here it's bad. I don't have any chlorine in my water because it's well water. And it basically becomes sludge in the pots, like bad. Last week, I went through my entire collection and cleaned everything. And I literally had to scrub roots to get the algae off. I don't mind a little bit of algae because I don't think that it's really detrimental to the plants. But when it takes over, I do feel like it has the potential to suffocate the roots. So I did some research online about how to control algae. And most of the things that I found were about, you know, ornamental ponds, how they control algae in ponds. Because my initial thought was, what if I put chlorine in my water? And then I was like, well, that's a pretty strong chemical. I'm not sure I want that, you know, in my house, or me being in charge of controlling it. I'm afraid of burning my plants. So I thought to myself, all right, well, let me do some research. So all the research that I found online was about ornamental ponds. And they were talking about how you would take a bale of barley, much like a bale of hay, and put it in your pond, and it would keep the algae away. And I thought to myself, that can't be real. So I did some more research, and sure enough, all this research that I was doing was showing that yes, indeed, people put bales of barley in their ponds to keep the algae away. And I was like, well, I can't put a bale of barley in my little cups, so what else can I do? So I found they make barley and peat extract. And the great thing about this is it's all natural. I covered the label because I'm not endorsing a specific product. This is just the version of it that was available to me on Amazon. But it's natural and it's safe for fish and plants. And I was like, well, what do I got to lose? I'll try a little bit of it. I mean, this bottle will last me until I no longer have orchids. I mean, this thing is huge. And it treats 2,500 gallons. Yeah, so that's a lot of months, years worth of watering. So this bottle is gonna last me forever because I just used just a couple tiny drops. And so far so good. I mean, look at that clear water. I mean, some of them, you know, are still turning green. But I mean, before I started using this literally would be like forest green and you wouldn't be able to see the roots. So I think it actually is working. I don't see any ill effects on my plants. Like I don't see any leaves suffering, any roots dying back, any blooms blasting or anything like that. So I don't think that it's having an adverse effect on my plants. I will update you if anything happens. But if you have a problem with algae like I do, hey, it's worth a try, right? And like I said, I use like the tiniest little minuscule amount. I did a lot of research on how they use this product. So please, if you're gonna use it, don't just say, well, Danielle says. Do your own research too. Make sure it's appropriate for your environment and your growing methods. Because if you're growing in moss or bark, it might not work for you because it's just gonna kind of flush through the pot. Whereas I'm growing with a reservoir of water. And so, you know, the extract is staying, you know, in that reservoir of water. So I don't know, it might work for, you know, when you're growing in organic media, or even leca beads or something like that. I don't know. I'm using it regardless for my cattleyas, which are growing in semi-hydro, just because I use the same fertilizer mix for all my orchids. You know, some of them get more of a heavy feed and some of them get a lighter feed depending on what type of orchid it is. But yeah, they all get the same products in their water. So, but anyways, so that's, you know, my little update on my Tolumnias, a little product that I'm using. Again, if anything comes up, I will definitely show it to you. But yeah, I have a lot of my Phalaenopsis in bloom. My Latoria dendrobiums have decided that they are going to put out some new spikes for me. This one's doing it as well. My apple blossom down there is just about to pop open their blooms. A lot of my Phalaenopsis that I didn't expect to bloom are putting out spikes. Actually, I have a mini phal up there behind these guys, which you probably can't see it. I'd have to get it down. But I watered her. Oh, maybe you can see it. You see that spike going towards the window? I watered her last week and she did not have that spike. So within a week, she grew like a 2.5-inch spike. Yeah, so a very vigorous growth. I really think they are enjoying their new environment with their increased light levels. And as long as I don't burn anymore, we should be really good. So as things bloom and as things happen, I will definitely update you. And then also too, a lot of you have mentioned that you would be interested in a series of videos about how I grow each type of orchid in waterculture, because I've been growing in waterculture for over 3 years, and I've learned a lot. I have made a lot of mistakes and learned from those mistakes. You don't get filmed that often, my fire wings. But I've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot from my mistakes, and I would like to share those mistakes with you and what I've learned, so that maybe if you decide to try 1 or 2 of your orchids in waterculture, or you're already doing waterculture and you're struggling, because most people when they start waterculture do struggle, maybe I can save you some of the headache and the heartache that goes along with learning how to grow in waterculture. I love it. I would never switch back to anything else. I mean, some of my orchids I do have in the glass beads, or I started to experiment with river rock. But for the most part, they're all bare rooted, with the exception of my Cattleyas and a few of my Oncidium types that like to have something, you know, to grab onto. I do put them in the beads. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day. It's early in the morning, so pretty good chance you're having a good day so far. But if not, I hope it gets better. And I hope you have a great day, and everybody stay safe. We're gonna get some pretty big storms here this afternoon. It's gonna get really hot, and then we're supposed to get some thunder and lightning. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm one of those weird people that actually really likes thunder and lightning. So, but anyways, yeah, I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you all next time.